Hello, and welcome back to what I'm laughingly calling Season 2 of this.
To be fair, that is a decent
It's-
nickname for it. I was going to say it's the Return of the Wizards.
Wait. Is this like Netflix where we get cancelled after the second season?
I bloody hope not.
No, we were safe. We didn't leave it on enough of a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Aw.
No, that's next season.
My name is John, and I am joined by Geoff,
Hello.
who is just resubscribed for 92 months. I'm joined by Ben,
Hello. It's good to see you.
who earlier resubscribed for 48 months.
Yeah. Surprisingly, also not typing out a random paragraph this time. You got away from it this time, John. You count yourself lucky.
And we're joined by new member of the council, Oswald the Enswold. I said that terribly. Somebody else say it.
You did. No. We're going to just sit here and be disappointed in you now, John.
No,
The world will let Colin Mockery know what you have done.
But I do that enough anyway.
Somewhere in the world, Colin Mockery's just sat bolt upright in bed and just going, someone got my name wrong.
Well, it's very wrong if we're calling him Oswald the Enswold.
But we're back, baby.
Yeah.
Hey.
We did this.
We did.
This
We
is
did
a
a
thing
thing.
we did.
Our names are on it and everything.
They are. Look, these are our names and Sean. And look, there's a back of the book. There's an inside of the book. Like, we didn't just do the front cover. We did the whole goddamn thing.
Yeah. We didn't just make a cover and then fill it full of blank pages. We did a whole.
Like, there's actually words in here. There's some pictures. People have bought the thing.
And some of them understand it.
Some of them understand it. Some of them don't. Sorry, we're now joined by Frankly Don't Give a Damn. I nailed
We're going to
that
get this throughout the entire... We're going to get sued by whose line is it anyway?
I'm going to randomly change
It's
the
either,
name.
it's either whose line is it anyway, or it's going to be the entire Simpsons, like, bar phone
Oh,
joke.
God, yeah. Amanda Hugginkiss. Amanda Hugginkiss. I'm looking for Amanda Hugginkiss.
I don't know why, but that was also the only one of the Simpsons bar names that I could remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, same with me as well. Yeah.
It was that or huge ass.
Yeah.
I'm looking
yeah.
for guys, do we have a huge ass in here?
I remember Ivana Tinkle.
Okay,
Ivana Tinkle, yeah.
So anyway...
I was about to say, we're getting a bit off track somehow.
We're getting a little off track. That's not at all like us normally. Two things that we're trying differently this time. Well, one thing we're trying differently, and then we'll launch into notes what I have taken previously, I guess. One thing we're doing differently this time is I'm not taking notes live, at least for this session. We'll see how this goes. We're in Zoom. Yes, it's meetings 2020 style.
Zimmy ding dong.
Hopefully this means that the Geoff, you're muted. Check your microphone, Geoff. Geoff.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Is this Oh, Ben's frozen now. And
to be fair, Frankly has frozen for the entire thing so far. Yeah. I've barely seen him move.
Frankly's got a terrible avatar turned on right now.
Oh no, don't give him that idea.
I'm not a cat.
Yeah.
I'm not a cat.
I'm a tobacco.
I'm not a cat.
Sean is apparently going to spend the entire time just remembering these names and not coming up with anything else. We're now joined by Francis, full of French people.
Yep.
Apparently.
I just got the message from Deepol. That's my name now.
And now over to Francis for the weather.
The rain.
No, thank you, Francis. So I suppose, basically, where we start with this is that we're moving into Book Two, and Book Two is Taur Galade and the Ravenstone Marshes. It sort of focuses on, if we look at the map, which is a good place to look when we are describing a place.
Look, it's in the book and everything.
Oh, that means I have to go and get my book out. Hang on.
I mean, you've got it lucky, Sean. I've still got Geoff and Ben's books in the other room.
The perks of living nearby.
So basically, we're looking at this big foresty bit and this big, very wet bit here, sort of the central area of the continent.
So where were we before?
So we did this
Haven's
bit
Coast
and this bit.
Oh, so it's slowly moving eastwards across the continent.
So we're slowly moving eastwards, and then the next book we do north and this bit, and then we do these two in the fourth.
So basically, we're like the maelstrom just coming from the other side.
Yeah. So
But even worse than the maelstrom, the creators are coming.
So basically, there's a couple of bits of things that I want to get into the book. There's a couple of things that I want to talk about and discuss and start percolating ideas for. And there's a couple of bits of lore from the book that we can expand on the lore that we put in this one to further expand into this second book. First up, if I go to the history chapter of this book,
you see, it's a very advanced book. It actually has a history of what you've been reading while you've been reading it.
Wait, don't you mean the book?
Yeah.
So when myself and Rogue were proofreading this book,
Right.
he mentioned it would be useful to have some history of why King Casimir was so important. Like, we'd mentioned him in the sense of he forms the alliance, and the alliance does these really good things and brings about sort of mostly peace. There is still conflict, but it's mostly peaceful after Casimir. And obviously there's still going to be some upheaval in the world, because otherwise everybody settles down and just becomes a farmer. And then you don't really get a D&D game.
No. I would have thought a few of them might have become lumberjacks.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, they sleep all night and they work all day, I've heard.
Yeah.
So at the start of the history chapter, where it talks about the forming of the Alliance of Casimir, because it wasn't super relevant to Book One, we didn't go into a lot of depth with it. Because really for Book One, all it needed to be was, why is Casimir important? And oh look, he formed the Alliance. But for Book Two, we're focusing on the bit of the world that Casimir lived in and ruled over, and where his seat of power was. And technically, still is, because even though Casimir is gone, his alliance is still around. So, in the history bit of the book, we wrote, in the centre of Tamrinor, in a region called the Ravenstone Marshes, a reluctant future ruler called Casimir IV walked among his people before ascending to the throne. in this time, he met and fell in love with a commoner called Viorica. He realized that he was duty-bound to become the ruler of his people, and saw that there was might in the other species of Tamrinor, that they could all work together. While 2 previous rulers had attempted to unite the Ravenstone Marshes, King Casimir was able to bring his people together. So basically, sort of the ideas that we need to start percolating on from that. Why did he succeed? Why did these other 2 fail? And who were these other 2 rulers? They are further back in history than Casimir.
Mm-hmm.
But 2 rulers failed. He succeeded. Now, the suggestion that Rogue came up with, being a bit of a history buff, and he will have the correct terminology for it. And I can't quite remember it because this was a conversation we had several months ago now. And so if you're watching
excuses.
If you happen to be watching right now, Rogue, feel free to throw it in the chat and I'll pull it up properly. But basically, the idea that he came up with is that using sort of this ability to unite the people allowed Casimir to drain the marshland around whatever we named the town before it became Lawfell.
Okay.
And basically made... I mean, that also works, Stanza.
We need you to get Rogue to write it out so John can say it, so the AI note taker can actually get it down.
We need it. It is very important. Read whatever he's doing.
But basically, he drained the swamp. He made it viable farmland. And because he made it viable farmland, they were able to support a bigger group of people and a big town, which then allowed him to be, uncontested in saying, I think we should be all united now. And if you don't agree with me, here's a big group of people that agree with me.
I'd be more tempted to almost go along with the route that, okay, taking the story point that he has drained the area around Lawfell, in which case the waters had to go somewhere else, and the marshland was obviously going to be still something good for someone else, otherwise there wouldn't be people there. So the marshland is important to some of them. So designating and effectively making the marshland which is yours, no one will touch it. So long as you are willing to help us, we wish to help you. We want to give you yours. Where you can imagine people have probably been trying to force a hand along the way. I kind of wonder if Casimir is the first one who's actually gone by to say, you know what, your race, your species is very different from mine. Your traditions are different. Your needs are different. The way that you interact and the way that you bargain, the way that you do things is different. And it's probably the first one to actually acknowledge that and try and adapt their strategy around that. Almost to...
Rogue, what's the fancy word for draining a swamp to make arable farmland?
Yeah, we don't care about the monarchs. Who cares about the monarchs falling? That doesn't matter. What is draining land?
The good thing about Zoom as well is I can do this.
Geoff has a question.
What notes do we have previously about Casimir? I also seen that I seem to have moved my camera to the other place, but okay.
Yeah.
What notes do we have about Casimir?
I'm just going to lower Geoff's hand now.
Yep. That's a good way of seeing.
Apparently, I can do that. I can just put that down.
That is a very good thing.
Let me grab the obsidian notes.
But I've got an idea. I've got an idea which I'd like to run past you, which is a bit of a radical one, bit of a left turn, but
I do like the idea. One, I like the idea that he's the first one to unite everybody because he's literally the first one to go, you're different to us, you need different things, rather than possibly at least one of the other two kings or monarchs being, you're different to us, you will now act like us.
Before we go any further, the terms that Roger suggested, so the note taker can get this, reclamation or land drainage for draining the marshes for arable farmland.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Continue,
Also,
please.
we now go over to wood row, but don't have a paddle for the sports.
Yeah. Someone kicked the ball, and then everyone cheered. I guess that's good.
Thank you, Woodrow. Why do we keep sending him out for these things?
Gets him out the office.
Okay. The notes on Casimir.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to necessarily read from. Actually, let me double check what's in the book because sort of.
I was going to say, technically, that is our official lore at the moment.
Let's read from the book because the book
I'd like
is
to know what notes we have because
solid.
I've something might talk about before.
I'm sorry, I don't like the term "let's read from the book." It's starting to sound very culty in here.
Let
Didn't
me read.
You know that's what you were getting into, Woodrow.
Sorry, I'll read from the sacred tome then.
That's better.
Casimir IV, also later known as the Armoured King, was a ruler who understood that true power did not rest in a single kingdom or bloodline, but in unity. When he was young, he was betrothed to the neighbouring queen called Kaliska. Reluctant to ascend to the throne without experiencing the lives of the people he would rule, he snuck into the world to wander anonymously amongst his people. He found wonder and majesty among all of the species of Tamrinor, and that no singular species could truly exist without the others, that the true strength of his realm lay in unity rather than division. He also found true love in the form of a tiefling called Viorica, who persuaded him to return to claim the throne and unite their people. The alliance of Casimir forged a peace between all of the species of Tamrinor, but it was not without its challenges. The slighted Queen Kaliska united the anarchic Cliffsiders and the bloodthirsty Raptors to overthrow the alliance before it could truly begin, but their forces proved ineffectual and their leaders were captured. The Raptors were banished into the eastern end of the Trieste Mountains, the Cliffsiders forced to eke out a new existence on the windswept Lycos Island, and Queen Kaliska was imprisoned. While she might have eventually escaped, details are not clear as to how. Others also moved against the Noble Alliance. The Hunger of Knowledge, a splinter faction of the Raptors, led by Nix Mortis, attempted to remove Casimir from the skein of fate, removing his deeds from history and erasing him permanently. Thankfully, a loyal knight by the name of Eris was questing in the region and disrupted the ritual, causing it to shatter before it could completely take hold. The twisted remnants of the ritual not only warped Eris, but also twisted the magic on Casimir's magical plate armor. So we know that he had magical plate armor, causing those who looked upon him to forget his true species and what he looked like. He and his closest advisors, including Aris and Emberwolf, realized that there was power in the king becoming an icon of unity instead of just a single man. Without his former identity being known to the general populace, he could instead be any of them, and they could all place themselves in his place. From this day forth, he was not seen in public without the armor, earning his moniker of the Armored King. Because of this anonymity, the records of the final years of his rule are sparse, but mostly peaceful. And then it talks about the fact that unity continued for a while.
So, okay, so that's one of my things. I remember he said that we didn't actually know what species or anything Casimir was, because the idea was then that anybody could be Casimir, and if you put on the armor, you became Casimir. All of that, what happens if you remove the actual person of Casimir out from that? What happens to that story?
You get multiple people in the role of the symbol of Casimir.
So that's going to be my idea. you say like two kings failed, one king succeeded. What if it wasn't? What if he wasn't an actual person? If it was, if he was just like written in
Oh,
later on as a king, as a person who succeeded, but in fact it was, I don't know, politics, diplomacy, everything just like fell together. But afterwards they needed to put a person in as the focal point.
that actually, hang on, taking that. Okay, so a faction far beyond the beginning. So the stories of Casimir place him in. If you actually look at it, it almost becomes impossible to place down properly because the timeline between where he jumped from one place to another place is an impossible thing to make. And all this stuff. It turns out is actually we almost have our version of the Marvel's Illuminati. They have a secret group who realize the only way to pull this unity together after realizing that unity amongst themselves was the only way, was to understand each other. And the only way you could truly understand each of the other one is to come from the place. So you now create the fiction of a singular person who understands everyone so much better. And they gave them the name Casimir. No one knows where Casimir came from. Casimir has done X, Y, and Z, did fall in love, and the person who became the first Casimir did indeed fall in love with the tiefling, and that became quite a true little story part. And basically, everything which was in had to be woven into a storyline by this secret group behind. Their only intention was to unify. It was necessary. They saw that it was necessary, and they had to take the steps that no one was willing to take. And the only way that you could convince a person back when there was no unity was to come from the same species, to come from the same people, and to convince them that they are getting the best deal. Or at least that's the conclusion which they came up with, though we might have readjusted ever so slightly. But that way you end up with this Casimir who ends up going and bargaining with the different places all over the place, going off and talking to the different places. And there is always a Casimir who has gone and steadfast gone and done the talks first.
Rogue says a lot of things about draining swamps. Let's just go through some of those quickly. There are loads of ways to drain swamps. For example, the French drain is the practice of using trenches filled with large gravel and perforated pipe that collects and redirects the water. Apparently, just gravel or just perforations wasn't good enough for the French. But basically, they have so many canals in the Netherlands and East Anglia, it's how they drained the water. Rogue then realised from us talking about the two kings that failed, the one king who succeeded, worked out that's what Stanza was referencing. Rogue likes the idea of a secret council, perhaps the advisors of the various pre-alliance realms. Good fodder for a sort of secret histories style adventure hook.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to throw in there not a curveball, but a ball that continues along the same path of curveball that we've been pitching here. I know that I read them and nobody else here necessarily reads the Ultimate Comics, Marvel's Ultimate Comics storyline, the recent revival of Marvel's Ultimate Comics. Has done some very interesting things for Spider-Man. It's given us, I mean, for a start, the Marvel Ultimate series at the moment is running in real time. So unlike other comics where you get a continuing storyline,
we've got an ad interrupting and curveball.
We're just going to pause here for 40 seconds.
Tick, tick, tick. So where the idea for that came from is the whole King Arthur legend, because you have this figure King Arthur.
Yeah,
makes sense.
But then it could be multiple people amalgamated
oh god,
together.
yeah. But the other side of things, this also throws in one other thing which I will loop back to, considering that we have the Emberwolf libraries. Do you know of the Forbidden Room in, I think it's the Bristol Library, where it has forbidden knowledge, but for the sake that it is knowledge, it is kept. But no one is allowed in that room.
Well, I mean, that's
And
why
it
it's the
has been
Forbidden
in
Room.
and it has
They
been that
named it
way
well.
for so long that no one has any memory of what is in that room, shy of it is a forbidden knowledge of the past, which is deemed too dangerous to be known, but
So
at the same time should be held.
a Forbidden Room in the Emberwolf archive somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of vaults and secret things and so on and so forth.
Exactly. And imagine how
That's
cool the little storyline side of things of trying to find the hidden history of
Sorry, Sean?
so. Yeah, I was going to say that obviously with the different vaults all over the place, it's like no one even knows where the Forbidden Room is. Like which one of these vaults has the hidden room?
exactly. On top of that,
Um,
you could make such an adventure around that one, effectively almost like let's steal the let's steal the Declaration of Independence kind of level.
to go back to the curveball, because we paused the curveball
Yes.
sort of mid-air swirling here.
Marvel Ultimate Spider-Man, yes.
So the Marvel Ultimate storyline has been really interesting in that at the moment they've been doing it each month in the comic. That there has been a stretch
About breaking
redeemed.
stride. Yeah, breaking stride.
Compressing myself down into the density of a dying star. Yeah.
Each month of the comic, a month has gone past in the storyline. So when it started, it was in January, then it went February, March, April, May. They got to Christmas, and Christmas was occurring. Like, rather than it just being like nebulous a few weeks later.
Yeah.
They've also done things with Spider-Man where instead of Spider-Man being a teen getting his spider powers, that
He's
was
a grumpy
stopped.
old man.
He's now a 40-year-old dude who has two kids and is married to MJ, but always felt that something was missing from his life. That something was a radioactive spider. But one of the things they've introduced is there's not one Mysterio. Mysterio is a secret council of people who have
I always thought that was exactly what it should
magic
have.
coin that allows them to do some amount of illusory based magic.
Okay.
But they all have to share this one thing that gives them the power. They all have to agree on what they're doing with it, because if the wrong people find out that they've been doing stuff behind the scenes, they're all in trouble.
Okay. That's just a different change, I must admit.
And one of the people on this committee of Mysterios is Gwen Stacy.
Ah. I wasn't expecting that.
One of them is that bloke Toady, what works for the Kingpin. Like the
Mysterious Gwen.
Kingpin's finance guy is a Mysterio.
Oh, I like that.
So yeah, it's an interesting sort of twist, and they're not evil. I mean, they're not necessarily the right people to work with, but
I mean, to be fair, that's a great way to sort of start it off. That now Mysterio's not evil, or the Mysterios aren't evil, up until one gets corrupted by the power, effectively.
Okay. I mean, I'm curious about that idea. I like where we're going with it. Let's continue to expand on that one. there are a few things we need to talk about. One of them, Sean told me that he would expand upon.
Mm.
He might not have done by this point,
As
but
a quick point before we jump on, Rogue has made a wonderful point in the chat.
something to throw into the pot. Indian history isn't recorded in the same way as Western history, with most of its history in poems and oral traditions, or at least so I've been told. And a tradition of history-keeping bards could be a fun reason things are vague and contradictory.
And
He
one
ain't
thing
wrong.
which we actually placed down exactly when the Ember Wolf started to transcribe everything.
I mean, we even mention at the start of the Ember Wolf's entry in the book that the details of his early life are very vague because he wasn't yet keeping the records of his life yet.
Yeah. In which case, yeah, stories being told from one to another and passed down generations is exactly how it would start.
Like, we know that the avians have always been collectors of knowledge and history and things like that, but
The other side of things, would have avians been of as much of interest in other people's histories up until this point of the Union?
I mean, they were
Because,
described as just being curious about collecting all of the knowledge.
oh, yeah, but as in actually acquiring it from the original sources of the people rather than making their own assumptions from what they see. In which case, this is also a wonderful thing, which could be a huge spark for the Ember Wolf.
It's not
If
listed
you end up,
anywhere yet.
yeah, because you end up placing it down that, let's say that the Ember Wolf was something which was around anyway. It was something which was a part of the avians, and it was decided that when it came through this point and this understanding of the other people and the fact that they're understanding them, they finally got into the point of perhaps passing around the first written word, as in the first one, which is straight across. There is still written word and all that sort of thing, but it would have been a lot simpler, but more on lines of like scratches for the sake of prices and stuff like that. And you probably wouldn't have had quite the same level. We're talking effectively almost when modern language first came into be, or sort of twisting around where in place, where it's not to say that there weren't things written down, but it'd probably be more like hieroglyphic almost, and has now got to the point where it could be turned into word.
So we'll move on and we'll discuss the things that Shauna said he would like to make some notes on, and we'll come back. In the bit of the book where we wrote about the Panic Moon Festival, which is in the appendix at the back of the book, we discuss the lunar cycles and the Panic Moon. I needed to come up with some names for some people and things. And so at the moment, we've just got some names and no other real history about them. So Sean is going to come up with some history about them.
Yes, I completely forgot about that until you mentioned it.
Which is
So,
fine, because that's what this is all about, is to start percolating some of those ideas around.
yes.
Um,
Yes.
so in the book, it talks about a legendary clash, like some of the dancing mimics the legendary clash between the hero king Vorlag and the shadow beast Xylar. Xylar, for anyone trying to spell that one. It then also mentions later on that potentially a champion might undergo a harrowing trial, such as venturing into the labyrinth of whispering stones. where the air hums with forgotten magic, or braving a night in the cursed ruin of old Vorlag's keep, where the wind carries the moans of trapped spirits, their endurance believed to strengthen the world's defences. So basically, Sean has been tasked with coming up with what the heck Hero King Vorlag and the Shadow Beast Xylar fought about.
Isn't that the Metallica tribute band?
Wait, that's what they were fighting about?
Yes, we're a Metallica tribute band. No, we're not.
No, we're AC/DC, damn it!
We are nothing to do with the power supply.
But also the idea that a champion might spend the night in the Hero King's haunted ruins means that there's some story there, and God knows we love when there's a story there to tell. And I also feel that there's an adventure seed in going to the Hero King's ruined castle and dealing with something or retrieving something.
I'd be so tempted to turn that into a horror one-shot. Oh, we joked about it. It happened. Okay, John, you froze. So how about we rewind and go in again?
Well, I didn't freeze for me, so.
Yeah. It.
So.
Froze for us.
Can you hear me still?
We can hear you. We didn't hear you at the time. You, as I say, you sort of froze.
Well, I mean, it's still going, and the stream's still on. As far as I can see, the stream's still on.
The stream still does seem to be going.
So, I mean, we can continue.
Good.
Oh, we're just wondering what you said.
What was I saying?
The stream might have heard it, but we didn't.
I mean, you were saying about a horror. You were saying about doing it as a horror one.
You were talking about the whole concept. That is absolutely right. You were talking about effectively how interesting it would be to actually go and do something in the ruins. You were getting onto something else, and you went silent, which is when I jumped in about the horror side of things. I was just wondering whether we missed a bit there.
No, I paused because you started talking about the horror story idea.
Okay. Well,
literally paused because you're talking about the horror thing.
The whole idea going with that whole aspect with you've already set it up nicely as a horror-based thing, but it is a test of courage to stay there long enough or to last the night, as it were. The ruins of it just works so nicely for exactly that. It's almost like a test to prove yourself. The real question is, would it be something which is of an important nature, or is this something more like kiddie cult? I place it down, like, the whole concept of trying to stay at night in the haunted house, or is it literally almost a test of manhood and a proof before you can move forth in a particular culture?
The way I see it as the second, in that there is something there that needs to be bested in yourself, or even possibly physically. There is something there that you need to best, whether it's an illusion or a haunted vision or something. But it's like there is something that you need to, almost a bit like a more extreme version of Luke going into the tree in Star Wars.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I was going to say the exact same thing right there.
Like something will appear.
And Stanza has said
you.
exactly the same thing.
How dare! How dare you both
maybe it's
idea.
like Luke going into the tree in the cave in Empire Strikes Back.
You know what? I was about to say the same thing.
The same thing. Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I think Stanza was thinking something similar.
Yeah.
So, have you guys seen this really old film called Empire Strikes Back?
No, what you're thinking about it, John?
Well, there's a cave that Luke
cave?
goes into.
But what about the cave?
It's
Does he
haunted.
take anything with him?
No, only himself and also his clothes and lightsaber.
Started to die.
Getting out of hand, this is.
And now I've got the robot chicken version in my head.
So
We're not going to go down this side route. Let's carry on.
I think there's something there's some history there of Vorlag and Xylar that needs to be written and go into the main book. But also, I suppose this is a decent time to mention that there's a side project to Book Two. There's two side projects to Book Two. Because, why have one plate in the air when you can have three?
Why are the plates in the air, John? Put them down. That's the way to break plates.
So sorry. I've broke all your plates.
It's a new serving style. This is why I have paper ones.
So as well as
dishwasher.
As well as the second of these books, we're also working on two sort of side books to the Tamrinor book line. The first of those is sort of Geoff headed. The book itself is not got Geoff's head. Geoff and I are sort of in charge of that one, and it's going to be a story anthology along the lines of some of the other story anthologies that Geoff and I have done. One of which Geoff did, and I copy and pasted everything in.
And then took full responsibility of.
And the other one that Geoff has done entirely on his own, and I've stolen the idea of to do this. But it's basically a short series of stories set in Tamrinor. We've got various authors to do some story writing. The idea is it's going to give you some idea of stuff that's happening around Tamrinor. It might give you some characters that you can reference. It might give you some events that have occurred. Or you can ignore it, because it's your Tamrinor in the end, and if you decide that that's not what happened in your world,
Fine.
It's not what happened in your world.
Fine. Be like that.
Be like that, but we will be coming and knocking on your doors momentarily.
I won't knock on the door. I'll just look through your window and shake my head in disappointment.
He's
not angry, he's just disappointed.
The second of the books is the adventure anthology. It's got adventures in it. Or it's going to have adventures in it. It doesn't at the moment, because if it did at the moment, we wouldn't need to write it. It'd be done.
No. I mean, that would be very, very nice and very easy, but...
but Ben and I... You'll notice there's a common thread in these books at the moment. Why did I do this to me? It's a long-running question. Ben and I are going to work on a series of adventures set in Tamrinor with various adventures at different levels, so that there is a sort of widespread of adventures from first level up to potentially 17th, 18th, 19th level.
I want to throw something mad.
But not 20th.
No. And we now go over the Horst you rode in on for a news update.
Everything's on fire. Why? It's everywhere. Oh God! So why are all the extinguishers are on fire?
Thank you, Horst. But I feel that Old Vorlag's keep very much is fitting with that book.
Oh god, yeah.
The other thing I kind of want to do some more writing up on for that book is the Silent Foundry that we had in the first book. Feels very much like there's a dungeon delve in there that we can
Yes.
we can put some notes to and some descriptive text and box texts.
Could that Warlock's Keep, could that be an adventure hook then?
Yes.
I could, yeah,
Like
absolutely.
a first level adventure hook or some such.
I mean, effectively, it's depending on how we're sort of placing it down. If we're making it almost like a mark of, you know, becoming an adult, effectively, uh, that is one of these trials which is done that is needed to be done, then it absolutely feels more like a way of it's like your level one into the world entrance. And it could very much be a manner of setting a tone. So if we end up making one which is more horror based or horror themed, it could open up for almost levels of a mixture of either like supernatural for the sake of going for a comical but horror sort of themed
I could sort of see
gameplay,
it
or you could
as
go down a few different routes.
sort of two potentials there as well, in that you've got both the level one, we're going to go near it and we're going to stay close enough to pass this trial, and the level 5 or 6 version of it where it's like, now we're going to go inside and deal with this. Because
I
there's
do
really
like that.
something over there and we need to stop it
Or it
being a problem.
Or the hook could be like, for so many years, Vorlag's Keep has been this trial of what would you call it? Coming of age trial, but now people are going missing.
Well,
Equally.
yeah, I mean, the other way which I was thinking was almost if you wanted to make it like an adventure hook or something to sort of start off an open world exploration, you could almost have it. It's almost Arthurian. It is trying to pull the sword from the stone. It is being chosen by something which is greater. But there is a belief that if you can conquer what is inside, or it allows you to conquer it, to probably put it more accurately, then you have been chosen for bigger thing. It is your time to go for this. As you might be able to tell, we haven't really come up with what this is, but it's a big thing over
This.
there. But but
But
just
yeah,
having that as an idea.
I think there's
But
things there for us to play with.
but I do also like the idea of just being able to throw it down in multiple different places. Like having almost like a session zero is once again people getting accustomed and the whole thing of trying to edge closer because you've heard so much mysticism about it and almost knowing and getting quite the point that you are not ready for this. Uh, even if it end up being more along the lines of an illusion effectively convincing your way or your mind gets sort of twisted to move that it becomes something to aim for. You need to be ready before you can even think about entering here. And perhaps even that this place actually does that as well. In which case you have a method of sort of throwing it in a couple different situations, which I do like as well, because it opens it up for how people play their games as well. Like, for instance, if you are more of a war gamer, you want to go in for the fight. If you want it to be more psychological horror, having it so that it's more something you need to figure out is a better option for you to go with. Whereas if it's something which is just cracking the egg before you open it up and let the world spill out onto the plate, you want it to be something which is going to sort of give a sample about what you want to present your Tamrinor to be.
So I'm going to move on from things to expand from the first book into a list of notes I have of things to include in the second book. I've got 2 new races, or 2 new species, to discuss. I've got a new subclass, because I been working on a subclass,
Nice.
and I've got 2 phenomena or environmental things that we can talk about. The phenomena and environmental things come from a talk that that Rogue and I went to at UK Games Expo, given by an Angeline Trevina, who's
Okay.
step-by-step world-building pamphlet I've kept on the desk for just such an occasion as bringing up the fact that Rogue and I went to a talk by her. This was a mini world-building guide. It's a very small pamphlet. Gives you some ideas.
Nice.
But it also does point out that she has a series of books about world building and fantasy cartography, as well as also she'll draw you up fantasy maps for you. We're not sponsored, but
They're still worth taking a look at.
have a look.
I've got a collection of those books on my shelf, and I have a feeling John's got a collection of some of those as well.
I have some similar sort of books on this shelf. Not her books. I didn't actually pick up her books because I'd already spent vast sums of money at UK Games Expo.
Yeah. But for the sake of actually creating worlds and all this sort of thing, they are things worth taking a look into. They really are. Strongly suggested.
But 2 other things that I think that we haven't mentioned about Tamrinor that I think it is worth considering and bringing up for the second book, and possibly adding into the third and fourth books. One is constellations.
Okay.
I mean, we're gonna have them because
I would like to ask the first big question on that one then. Are we saying these constellations have been created by the gods, or are these constellations which are navigational and created by mortals? Because the reason I say that is the reason I always liked that was going more from the concept of Lost in Space.
Yep.
Going with the film where we had Joey Tribbiani playing an amazing role. But it came down to the whole concept of when they felt the first adventurers, the first people, the first explorers, and they felt they got lost, they found symbols up in the sky in the first constellation. I love that story. And as well as that, it allows us to place it into a bit more of a world building situation. Were there different constellations which have sort of been grouped together, and your one from your species suits and fits better for the sake of the way that it creates itself in the sky so much better than ours, so we effectively have changed them around so the constellations still kind of work like ours, but for the different times of year, the way that they sort of stretch across the sky. And there are numerous more, but the ones which are mainly focused are effectively ones which were made to guide.
So the only
or are they written in the gods?
The only note that I have written down so far about our constellations is something to mention to Geoff.
Hello, I'm Geoff.
Hello, Geoff. We've just started an ad break, so
And on that note,
Time to sit here in stony silence.
yay!
Now back to Horst to see about this fire.
Oh, so this whole point of, and now they sit in complete silence until they come back.
We appear to have lost our connection to Horst. I can only assume it's because of all of the fire.
Horst is coughing. Sounds like he's got a horse in the throat.
Ooh.
Oh. Don't blame me. Not because it's not my fault, I just prefer if you didn't.
Tough.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really curious to see how the AI handles this name change happening every time. Because I know that it at the start of the catch me up on this meeting thing, it says who's in the meeting. Oh, let's see if it will tell me now. Catch me up
It's
again.
the simple things that make us giggle and laugh. It must be said. Oh, this is the. Sorry, I've got to show this now. So, I have this puzzle. It's one which I got from the UK Games Expo, which we did. The only one I've ever been to. And this one, obviously, the whole concept behind it is that you can put the date in it. It's a calendar. And I come to realize, okay, I didn't do today, so I just take a look at it, realize that I can do today by doing that. And then I came to realize that I can do tomorrow by taking that one out, twisting that one over, and placing that one in, and there we go. It is basically just move that one over. Okay, I don't think it's meant to be that simple at this point, but
So the AI has noted the meeting involves collaborative brainstorming between John, Geoff, Ben, and another participant whose name change is frequently referred to as Sean, Oswald, and Horst.
Fuck you, AI.
Through
Fuck
the tulips. And now tiptoe through the tulips.
Now it sounds like we've gone over to our musical act for the night.
Yeah.
Oh.
The only point that I had with the constellations, Geoff, is if we've got constellations in the night sky, and people are born under them as they are born under the constellations on Earth in current things where you have, Leo and it is others.
Yes, Leo and Smith and
And I'm a parody, huh?
I mean, I personally was born under from there.
That's funny. I always thought you were Manamana.
Were the constellations of Tamrinor tied into the elemental planes?
I think that would make sense. I think that would make sense actually. Because you had the idea of dominant planes, didn't we, throughout the year?
We have mentioned having dominant planes, and that there are two planes of existence. Like there are two planes of fire, two planes of water, air, and earth.
And jam, the fifth element.
Don't be silly. Everyone knows the fifth element is Mila Jovovich.
It is. It's the fifth element, also heavily connected to the role that Gary Oldman hated.
So I like
Gary Oldman was in that film as well.
It's one of those things that have we actually decided on how our planes of existence stack? Or do they stack? Are they circular? Are they different locations in an actual? Basically,
we had elemental planes were rotating around the world.
So they're rotating, but are they in the same plane of existence?
So I think that we'd probably have there's the prime material, and then we've got there's the Garden of Starless Skies, which is sort of the Fey plane, and there's the other one that we had that I definitely remember the name of, and will tell you all about it in several seconds' time. The Slumbering Twilight. No, that's the other one.
It's a great thing that you know this off the top of your head, John. It's great.
And to be fair, we all created this technically, none of us have an excuse.
There is-
But we do have the excuse of we don't have access to the obsidian.
That's true. That is true.
There is the Garden of Starless Skies, which is is the Shadow Realm, the dark reflection of Tamrinor, and the Slumbering Twilight, which is the Fey side of things.
That's my point.
And
Now,
in
if
some
we-
places is an exaggerated version of Tamrinor. So I think those three sort of stack up one on top of the other.
Yes, I mean, to be fair, when it comes down to it, I do kind of like the idea of the dark reflection, where it's almost an opposite of sorts.
Yes.
But if you had gone through it, is almost as if you walked into a mirror image. But it looks right but wrong at the same time. But it also intrinsically, as you say, sort of connects those ones because they have to be. But
I
when it
think
comes
the
down to
idea
the
with the
other
Slumbering
actual
Twilight,
planes,
it's like there are bits of it that are very much like overlaid over a place
Yes.
in Tamrinor, and others where it's like and completely far removed from everything in Tamrinor. So like I see the Slumbering Twilight sort of being in places layered here, and in others it's like it's up here somewhere.
and I like that as an idea. It's almost kind of taking with Minecraft, almost so going into the Nether through a portal. You might have connected over here, but down here you're here, and it's either shorter, longer distance,
Yeah.
up, down, and everywhere.
But then
So-
I think outside of those sort of three stacked planes, you have the elemental planes, the sort of the four standard elemental thing, sort of maybe in like a loop. Or
What I was trying to get to was more along the lines of wondering whether maybe we could place it down. That okay, the planes are beyond the mortal eye. You cannot see them in our own manner. It takes a very special kind of magic to be able to see them, but they're effectively almost like different planetary bodies floating out, but connected in once again a manner which we can't see. They are out there, so if you were to go to a different planet, you would still see the night skies. You might recognize it, but it's in the wrong place. Oh, but you're in a different point. So when you take a look at the constellation, you'll see some which make sense and you know and connect to, and then all of a sudden the other half of space is completely different. That there are some parts where there seems everything which you know and have come across so far doesn't seem to be there. Would lead to their science, no doubt, at one point, probably even once again coming up with another wonderful one where you could even place this down as another little storyline adventure hook that the Ember Wolf want to explore this, to find and try to navigate and locate where these planes of existence are after hearing these parts, and are trying to use space as the answer.
I mean, I think the only problem with using space as the answer, we then get very much into now we're doing Spelljammer or other sort of.
Oh no, not to the point of actual travel in space in that manner, but more using it as once again how the original constellations were done as forms of mapping out the sky and recognizing location. Not going to the point of actual starships going out anyway, but in planet travel, you are literally traveling from one place to another, and that is about the only way that you manage it.
What you mean? You mean space isn't just like Firefly stuck in a big black flypaper?
Pretty much, pretty much.
I also feel that we need to refer to some of the questions that. First of all, let's just refer to the fact that we've now been joined by Thor. Just thinking about it. Tanny has pointed out that they did help with some of the realms and the gods for them.
Yes.
We do have a night deity. It's Nephili, the night's blessing.
Also one of Tanny's.
Also a one that Tanny helped us to name and come up with. Sister of Evanora, the keeper of the garden. Goddess of the dreaming. Also, the Garden of Starless Sky does not have color. No, it doesn't.
And the other side of things, the fact that it didn't have it's a starless sky was the other reason why I was sort of thinking on that, on whether it is location or whether it's just so blocked out. Because that one could then be the climax of that sort of mini adventure sort of thing.
I think it's very much, in my opinion, the Garden of Starless Skies it's the Dark Mirror.
Yes.
Like if the prime material is here, it is
Yeah.
here. And probably the fact that there aren't constellations is also like there is no hope of navigating this place in that way.
Exactly. Once again, that's the whole point where you place it down like it's a navigation side of things up until that point, where the reason why they believe it must be a different form of travel in some place, that there must be a point in the sky which has no stars. Whereas actually the misunderstanding and the point of realizing is that it's actually, as you say, connected. Like solidly connected.
Indeed.
Yes.
But also,
Danny, you're absolutely right there. Yeah, the whole thing of being trapped, effectively being tricked to follow the light, as it were.
but also, I like the idea that maybe if we've got the 8 orbiting elemental planes, that each of them has a constellation, and when you get there, like the reverse of that constellation, like you're seeing it from the other side,
Yes.
could be an interesting flip turn. So I think, yeah, we probably do have constellations. There are 8 of them, and they are in some way connected to the elemental planes.
Now, as a more novel question to go along with them, because constellations also have another point and purpose in our world, does that mean that we have a horoscope?
We have mentioned that the elemental plane that you are born under has an effect on your life, so yes.
I would love for that to be a part of like character creation, an additional thing we can throw in ourselves. But the touch of the elemental which you are under.
Okay, so the other point, and this is one that's really good for us to bring up for book 2, is battlefields.
Terrible game series.
How dare you? How dare you? 2042 was classic.
We don't currently have any listed on the
we
map.
had mention of a
We've had
couple locations.
We've had fights.
Yes, but no actual battlefields.
We've never pinpointed on the map the location of those fights. We've never said that there is any lasting effect of those fights. And even if the lasting effect is it's a field, which, it turns out when you have a battlefield, eventually it does just become a field.
There is one which I've had as an idea, which I would love for to be near one of our halfling homes. They're just to say that they could gain themselves interesting bits and pieces from where magic residue from a very magic strong battle has left its mark by allowing a odd myriad of fruits and vegetables and other random things to grow. It's the stuff which you don't see anywhere else ever. They've become delicacies for the point, and it's almost like it's just because it's sapping on the magic residue left behind.
I mean, that could very easily be something from the uprising of TAC 10F. Because there were 2 fights that I've considered, and I spoke with Sean about, as being fights that we can have a battlefield for. And one of those is the holy war between Ravenseat and Taur Galade that is mentioned in the book. There's going to be a place where there was a fight. There are going to be people there that remembered it was a thing. Like there's 2 settlements that grew out of the fact that there was a Barney.
That purple dinosaur has a lot to answer for.
Yeah.
For the sake of it being against the Taur Galade, I would love for some buildings to have been built from the destroyed trees that might have been around. That rather than go to waste, they were to become a monument, effectively, of some form of settlement, effectively making good out of the bad.
I mean, that is definitely something that we could add into either of the locations that we have said sprang up from. Like they basically started as the forward camps, effectively, of each army. So either or both of them could have buildings that have been built from the destruction of elven trees. But yeah, I think like some scar of the battlefield of the uprising of Taktaneth that the halflings have started farming. It's cool. That sounds really cool. So let's do that. Let's make that be a thing. In terms of species, obviously we have all of the ones that we mentioned in book 1. And I don't think there's anything we need to necessarily change there just yet. But I got other ideas. And one of those is from the fact that the SRD 5.2 came out about a week before we had to send book 1 off to the printers.
Always the way.
Like a bunch of bastards.
And SRD 5.2, I'm expecting them to release SRD 5.3 that gives us access to even more things just before we get the book 2 off to the printers at this point. But SRD 5.2 added the ability for us to include orcs.
Yay!
As a playable species. And I said to you guys at the time, do we want to just put orcs in? Do we want to put orcs and Goliaths in? Because those are the 2 that we can add now. And you guys said no. And I think that's reasonable because it allows us to then have our own spin on the stories and lives of these characters. Which was your argument as to why we didn't just rush and put the orcs and Goliaths in. Now for the Goliaths...
Wouldn't I was thinking, wouldn't the orcs and the Goliaths kind of fold into the wild ones?
In some ways, the standard orc and Goliath would do. We're going to put a pin in the Goliath.
I was going to say that orc, maybe, but Goliath, I'm actually more tempted to effectively them being like a larger variation of dwarf.
Well, we're going to put a pin in them for now because we're going to come back to them in book 3.
Okay.
Stop putting pins in them.
It's fine. They don't feel it. Because book 3 covers, I believe, the mountain range.
Which would make a lot of sense.
But Sean and I had a discussion when I delivered him his book.
Yeah.
And so you're telling him that he's been kicked off the team, right?
Yes, and his thought just thinking about it. And we thought of some interesting things.
Was any of it related to the book?
And some of it was related to the book. What if our orcs are honor bound? They are... I think the description that Sean and I came up with was like Japanese culture.
Okay.
Honor-bound samurai orc.
Yeah, so that they're still warrior-like, but they're not like they are often described in normal D&D of they're just marauding around because their gods are just rage and violence. It's like, no, these ones, they they won't they won't they are very strong and they're very capable warriors, but they won't attack out of just bloodlust. They'll do it if you slight them or you are a threat, and they will give you fair warning they're going to do it.
I I do like that as an idea, very distinctly like that as an idea.
I
But
love
it's
it.
a version which I've come across in an anime, which I can't remember the title of quite at the moment, but nonetheless, where okay, there was a split off from it, but effectively the the orcs very much believe that fights should only be between those who have either earned the right or are able to actually sustain in the fight and will do everything they can up until the point where you've either proven yourself or they will generally take it to the point where they do the minimal required. Because if you are going to constantly be in the way, you are not, it is not right and honorable to crush someone who is so far below you. Otherwise, why not go and kill every baby in a pram? It is honorable to fight someone who can fight back, but only to the level that they can fight. And sort of placing with that aspect of almost before they test you. They don't know what you are able to take, so they don't go in full force until they know for a fact you can take it, in which case it becomes an honorable fight. And as you say, the look is not for the sake of war, it is to find the honorable fight, in which case I would much rather the world become a better place because better warriors will come out of it. I look forward to the better warriors.
I think for me, it reminds me a lot of the World of Warcraft orcs around the Warcraft 3. Sorry, around the Warcraft 3 early World of Warcraft areas where they were honorable. They weren't just like, killing humans just for the sake of it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought were my favorite type of the orcs in that game until afterwards when they decided they actually liked the idea of orcs killing humans and humans killing orcs straight up.
I mean,
Yeah, I must say.
I also
Mhm.
think that with the fact that the orc traits from the main book, we don't need to tweak the traits very much, if at all, because the orcs get adrenaline rush, which means you can dash as a bonus action and gain a number of temporary hit points equal to your proficiency bonus, which I feel works very much with being warrior trained to like getting close to the fight quickly
Yeah.
to end it if you need to end it, to protect those that are not able to protect themselves. And also relentless endurance, which, if you're reduced to 0 hit points but not killed outright, you drop to 1 instead. You're
Yeah,
trained to stay on your feet.
Yeah.
I feel there's not much needs changing with orcs being, because like they just kind of lend themselves so well to being a warrior. It's just that it's a lot of um a lot of lore and IPs and various campaign settings and everything. We always use them as the big brutes that are just there to hit things,
Yes.
and they don't, and usually are just like violent marauders and things like that. It's like I quite like the ones where they go, no, they can be something else,
So do
which is
I.
obviously, which is like I like, because one of my favorites as well. One of my favorite other versions of orcs is the orcs they use in Eberron, where they're more shamanistic and they're a little bit more almost Native American almost.
Hmm.
And they're like there's a lot of with them there's a lot of druids and rangers and things like that. They're not really, once again, they're not very fighty. They're they once again are fully capable of defending themselves, but they will only do that as a last resort because they are far more hands off in Eberron. But also, like I said, as me and John discussed, I quite like the idea of them being more honor bound and reserved.
Tanny has sent me 2 pictures on Discord of streetlights in the middle of nowhere that they say is like, this is the lights of the Garden of Starless, not the Garden of Starless Skies. No, yeah, that is the one we were talking about.
Yeah. You got me looking back into the comments
where they were flickering, like where they flicker and
with a false hope.
You're like, I mean,
Let's see.
And they very much do look like that sort of thing that there would be there. I mean, one of them makes me feel like it's the. I can almost hear the film noir monologue of like, I went down the alley and I knew I shouldn't have done.
Ah, yes, that old noir chestnut.
That sort of thing, you know.
I went down the alley. I should have fucking done that. Ah, bollocks.
I've obviously watched some very different film noir.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it depends on how many drinks into that bottle of whiskey they've been going.
That would be a hilarious noir film. Of like you're following the drunken detective, and he is utterly wasted the entire time.
Oh no!
Isn't that just Disco Elysium?
Oh no! It has to be better than that. If you were gonna do that story, you started off exactly like a classic noir, and then constantly drinking from the bottle, and then it gets sloppier as it goes by.
That is Disco Elysium.
The Amalgi.
Yes.
The second of the new species I want to include as a playable species is one that we I'm not seeing a lot of dropout on my end, Tanny, so I think it might be your end.
Actually, take a look.
My end is saying everything's going fine, so I think any
trying to
problems that you're
take a look
having
at
are
this.
probably your end.
My stream's looking okay, I think.
So the
we're back now. We missed everything.
The Amalgi, we had originally created this as a monstrous creature, and I like the idea of turning that into a playable race instead.
Okay.
I don't know the full mechanics at the moment. I'm percolating on them, like so much stuff at the moment is in its very
There's
early
so much
stages.
coffee going on.
I was going to say, have you become obsessed with coffee recently, John?
No.
Have you got yourself a percolator?
No. I should apparently for the amount of percolation that I need to do.
I feel it is a thing that's on your mind right now.
I've been watching a series called Coffee with Serge, where they get coffee with a guy named Serge. Today's episode, they got Bhutanese butter tea, which I feel was a slight deviation.
Did they percolate it?
No.
They've gone too far.
So the Amalgi.
We're on an ad break, by the way, just so you know.
Oh.
The Amalgi are an automaton race.
Do we want to wait for a moment till the ad's over?
We've got a minute to go, so it's up to you guys.
Yeah, we can wait a little bit. I mean, I know that Geoff, you were saying you want to go in about 20 minutes, don't you?
Yeah.
To be fair, the way my eyes feeling, I'm thinking it was going to be dropping off of the camera soon as well.
Well, we'll aim to finish in 20 minutes because I can just not rush through the last bits of this, but I can. We're close to the end
And we're
of
about to
this
break.
session.
And the real question is, will 4 be replaced by someone else?
I don't know what you're talking about. This has been my name the entire time.
Well, it's been your name, obviously, but you know.
I mean, I thought your name was John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
No, that's
No.
my name.
Oh, that's odd. It's my name too.
Yeah.
You know, whenever I go out, the people always shout, there goes John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. And I wish they'd stop screaming at me. It's terrifying.
We're back from the ad break. The Amalgi are sort of the remnants of the Forged. The amalgamated remnants of the Forged. Put together from scraps and bits that still work, and mostly work. And so my idea for this is they're an automaton race a bit like the Warforged. But on top of some of the features of the Warforged, they also have a stress mechanic.
Okay.
Mostly because they're not supposed to still be running.
Interesting.
I don't know the full rules of the stress mechanic at the moment. There's going to be a bonus, and then there's going to be a vast drop-off. And you're going to track your stress points.
It does feel like it could have an interesting aspect of being able to, almost if you sort of throw it in that it's a bonus you can potentially use, but it adds stress points
Well, that's
that
one of the
require
things.
to be fixed.
What do stress points do in this context?
I'm presuming that if you get too many of them, they effectively start to debilitate you.
My thought is that you have a small bonus from them up until you reach a breaking point, which I think would be probably your wisdom modifier plus your proficiency bonus. After which point they become debilitating until you
From experience in another campaign, I'd like, if you're going to do like stress points, I'd like it to be clearly defined, because I think in the DMG, when it talks about stress, it's each point of stress is a negative modifier to any skill roll, and it's very, very hard to actually recover stress. So you end up just like becoming worse and worse and worse at your skills.
I
mean,
think
it would
we're
definitely
talking a
be
different.
fully thought out before we get there.
Yeah.
I mean, plus it's a different kind of stress as well. We're talking more like mechanical stress.
Oh, okay.
Imagine like because you're made of mechanical parts, you try to exert yourself more than your
Okay.
components, and you put stress on. So say you're trying to lift a heavier weight,
I'm
you're
with you.
putting more stress on, which can then potentially speed up something which needs to be
sorry.
fixed before you could.
Yeah, it's more your like wearing down your tensile strength of your limbs.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about stress as in
Psychological.
person, right? Yeah.
Not
I mean,
psychological, not mental.
Technically, there might be a certain amount of it that is like your computer brain's stress. Like, you've been around so long, that bit of you needs to be replaced or aired out or something.
Oh, true. Yeah.
I haven't worked out the exact way that you're going to be clearing your
Yeah.
stress.
I think
But it
my
would
point
have to be clearly worded, definitely.
I think my point kind of is, if you're having a negative effect from it, you need to be able to recover from that effect.
Yes.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that probably it would be something along the lines of you clear a certain amount of it on a long rest.
Because what it's the ability to sort of heal yourself up, and I suppose you could even place that one down that as you get better at it. So the more you have to do it, you get a bit more practice at it. Perhaps then it becomes more like a short rest and long rest deal. But we can figure out details on that side of things
I know
later.
that I don't want it to be that on a long rest you clear all of it.
Oh, no.
I think it very much needs to be. It needs to be less debilitating than exhaustion, where you clear 1 point per day.
Mm-hmm.
But it needs to be more debilitating than hit points, where it's you get all of them back at the end of a long rest. It's somewhere between those two things. What it
That
is
requires
again,
a bit of playing around, I think.
it needs to be worked out. It might be like a D4 or something. My two ideas for how you gain stress at the moment are that if you roll a nat 1, you gain a stress point.
So almost a bit like wild sorcery.
Little bit.
I was just thinking, what happens if you roll a nat 20? You're overexerting yourself.
I mean, possibly it could go both ways. Of you gain a stress for either nat.
I mean, to be fair, you could sort of throw that one down. If you get a nat 1, whatever you're attempting has failed and immediately stress point. The other side of things is that it's not that you don't get the stress points, it's that you succeeded, but
Yeah.
the stress point. What's it, as you say, you've overexerted yourself and now got to that point because you've gone too far the other way. In which case, that dice becomes a lovely little scale.
The other thing I can think of is that you'll have some form of species benefit that you can be like, I activate this, it does something quite good for the party or for me, but I gain a stress point because of it. And if that pushes me over the edge, that's a problem. We'll have to deal with that.
Having just made that suggestion, I think I need to back away from that suggestion because you don't want one character or class to be penalized for something that everybody else.
Oh, no.
Without any issue.
It is one of those bits
Yeah.
where it's a wonderful idea, and to be fair, I think you could probably even make a different game out of that entirely. I literally make an entire game out of that where you are playing that automaton who is trying, and yeah, you've got to try and stay relatively in the center of your roles rather than being too excessive. But
because it becomes like that other one we talking about, like, why would you ever take one if it's got a penalty like that?
well, exactly. No, you got a quite good point there. I like the mechanic, but it's not a mechanic for this game.
The subclass at the moment is something that Rogue and I have been discussing since UK Games Expo. The Maelstrom Monk.
Ooh. Is this going to be like a Shadow Monk?
It's a monk with a flavoring of wild magic. Sort of tapping into the volatile and violent nature of the Maelstrom to fuel your monk capabilities.
Very much like it. I must say, for a second there, I thought you were just going to go like, this is our version of the Shadow. And I was like, that's not quite what the Maelstrom is, so is it? Well, magic makes a hell of a lot more sense.
At the moment, I'll run through quickly what we've written down. It's very much, it needs to be play tested. I'm not super happy with all of the levels on it right now. Very much work in progress.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what this whole thing's all about. At level 3, when you first pick up this ability, you get two bonuses. One is erratic movement. When you spend a focus point on Flurry of Blows, as well as your extra Flurry of Blows options, you also teleport 10 feet.
Okay.
You also have Maelstrom attunement. At the start of your turn, you can expend a focus point to imbue yourself with elemental energy. This lasts for 10 minutes or until you become incapacitated. Your unarmed strike range is 10 feet greater than normal. And whenever you hit with an unarmed strike, you can choose to roll on the Maelstrom Burst table. Doing so causes you to take a roll of the martial arts dice as damage. So you gain a bonus for doing it, but it damages you in the process. You are unleashing this volatile energy. It's hitting,
and it blows up both ways.
It's hitting both directions. The Maelstrom Burst table is currently a D4. One of the effects deals 1d6 piercing damage plus a roll of your martial arts die in cold damage to all creatures within 5 feet of your original target.
Interesting.
The number 2 on the table gets you a 15-foot teleportation. The number 3, you deal a 15 feet line of damage through your current target.
All right.
And the number 4 on the table, the target makes a Constitution saving throw or their speed is reduced to 0 for a turn.
Okay.
At level 6, you gain an ability called Storm's Friend. As a magic action, you can summon a minor air or water elemental that you need to maintain concentration on. If you lose concentration, the elemental sticks around, but you don't have control of it anymore.
Excuse me.
I'm not sure how that really works out for the monk.
I reckon you should still have a chance. That one will always be there. I would say, like I place this one down when it comes down to elementals which have been brought in, and then people have lost concentration or lost any control over it. Is that it's still there? It is effectively had its mind wiped as to the point up until where it is, and he hasn't decided.
It's more. I'm not sure if that's a good ability for a monk to have.
It's not something which feels quite right.
Yeah.
I almost feel like it should go instead of almost like channeling the power of the element. So effectively, the power of the elemental comes through like the classic, the fire fist kind of deal. That each, depending on which elemental you go for, it has that effect coming through you. And as for the sake of the possible negative is that because you're not prepared against it, you would still get a hit from it.
It's something that we need to look at and work on.
Yeah.
I think level 6 is something that we need to work on. Level 11 and 17, I quite like. And I think they work quite well.
Mm-hmm.
Level 11, when you have your attunement to the Maelstrom active, you gain a flying speed equal to your walking speed.
Okay.
If you spend a focus point for your Step of the Wind, any creature within 5 feet of you as you move takes lightning or thunder damage equal to a roll of your martial arts die plus your wisdom bonus.
See, I thought that was going to go in a different route, considering you're going with the whole flight side. I don't know why, but my mentality of it was effectively becoming almost like that pushing force that you fly past them, and by doing so, you have the chance of almost like, without placing an attack, they have to make a dexterity save or be dragged in your direction. So you can make them disengage from fights or other bits and pieces. So you could help your allies by literally ripping them out of the fight.
I mean, there's potential for that. There would need to be a saving throw for it.
Oh yeah, there would definitely be a saving throw for that side of thing, but When you were saying about the flight side of thing, I thought that's where it was going straight after when you came down to. But
And then level 17, Hurricane of Blows.
aha.
When your attunement is active, if you spend a focus point on Flurry of Blows, you can make an additional 2 attacks, giving you a total of 5 attacks with your Flurry of Blows, as long as each of these attacks hits a different target. If you spend an additional focus point, each of these attacks deals an additional martial arts die of damage of the same elemental type, cold, lightning, or thunder.
The only thing which I'd have against that is the whole different target. Almost placed down instead as a really odd way of doing it, but consecutive target almost. I'd be more tempted to say. Like, whereas if you effectively become this sort of like spinning flurry of blows shooting out, but effectively you can't punch the same guy, but if you came around again and he's still standing. Otherwise, you're waiting for there to be a large group for you to do the 5 different blows.
I mean, I think the idea is very much that it's like you can hit each person once.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I
it
get
gets overbalanced because you've got 2 attacks and then you've got your flurry of blows attack.
I grant you that. The reason why I say that side of things is that having played a monk, yes, you can get a single blow on, but the whole point is that the single blows aren't much. It's the combination of them all which builds up its power.
What do you what do you other guys think?
I think the
It-
question you probably have to ask yourself is, why would someone choose this subclass?
Yeah.
So if there's like lots of like self-damaging abilities at the lower levels, that might put people off a bit, even though you've got like the holding out the carrots of the higher level stuff. If there's stuff that like blows up an enemy but also blows up yourself at a lower level, why would you take that?
And Dallas?
I agree with that in that it might be an idea with the because it's a roll on the table, isn't it, to find out what happens with
Yes.
the percussive nature of the maelstrom. I think it might be an idea to have early levels. It's just beneficial things, very slight beneficial.
Okay.
So, and then as you level up, it gets stronger, but you then introduce the possibilities of things blowing up in your face.
So maybe at level 6 we get a slightly different Maelstrom Burst table.
Yeah, so it's like the table changes as you level up.
Okay.
Because then, as Geoff said, it's like, because I know for me, if I saw that and I was like, well, there's a chance I'd kill myself accidentally
Well,
just by attacking someone.
This is the thing which I've been thinking is that, well, once again, monks are glass cannons. They don't need more of a reason to blow up.
Yeah. So obviously, at later levels, it's a good risk reward thing.
And
But
it
at early levels,
kind of like ties into the fact that you're tapping more into the power of the storm. There's
yeah,
like going to be more
is that as well
stuff
as your
coming back on you. Yeah.
as your connection to the maelstrom strengthens, the more power it's forcing through you, and may not necessarily be able to hold it back and control it, but it's just funneling more through.
Okay.
I like the hurricane thing, but I do kind of agree that it's like I don't know how to balance it because I like the idea of you charge into a big group of enemies and you smack all of them. But
Unless the other side of things, it comes with a blowout effectively, where you have It's something you end up seeing, especially in a lot of parody of the kung fu movie, where effectively you have one blowout where you literally, yes, it's one hit, but it shoves people so far back, it literally blows them out in that circle.
You could have it that rather than it being you target specifically, is that your attack essentially becomes an area of effect for that attack, so that you're
That's
technically
interesting.
hitting all of them at the same time. Technically, and
What
it's almost like
if
your fists and feet are a blur of just kind of that kind of thing.
what if instead of it being you have to hit alternative, like you get five flurry of blows attacks. If you hit the same target, you have a damage dice roll to make, or like you have a growing chance that you're going to take damage yourself. So you can focus on one target,
I do like that.
but
I
it's
do actually
likely
like
to
that
hurt
one.
you as well.
That is good. That will
I
work as
think
well.
that makes a bit more sense. That
Like
certainly works
then,
in my head a bit.
if you spread it out, it's fine. You're not going to take the damage. But if you do need to focus on one target and you need to land 7 attacks on one person, one, it's a person that clearly needs to go down like right now. But 2, it's you're likely to do a little bit of damage to yourself in doing these 7 attacks to one target. The other side of things is it might be that we'd need to look at rebalancing the fact that at that point it's you have your attunement active, which you probably are going to have active most of the time you're in big fights, and then it's just a focus point. And at level 17, you've got 17 focus points. You've spent one of them to become attuned to the maelstrom. You've got 16 times you can get 7 attacks in. Assuming the thing stands up for that long.
Yeah.
I do like the idea that if you're, like you said, like, you know, if you're doing that hurricane attack and loads of enemies, you're fine because you're uncontrolled, you're unleashing. But then the fewer enemies are, the more focused you have to be, and like, you know, the force of it like comes back on you as a bigger chance of coming back on you because
And if
you're
you're
trying to
throwing in
focus
that,
it on more people, on fewer people.
if you're throwing in that gamble side of things, and you could throw it in instead that the way the hurricane works is how many key points you're willing to put into it. So if you did have a bank of them left over, you could effectively carry on just sort of throwing and throwing and throwing in. You could waste them all in one, but it becomes highly dangerous for you by the end of it. But it could also be very profitable for the sake of being able to just smack the living daylights out of whatever's in front of you.
I mean, the only thing I would say about that is I don't want it to be that you get into the big bad evil guy's room, the monk has 17 focus points, rolls really highly on initiative, charges in there, and both the BBEG and the monk just explode in the first round of combat.
No,
Well,
that's the assassin rogue's job.
to be fair, when it comes down to it, I think that's where the sort of play testing to sort of really sort of level it out comes in. But I like the.
I think it
just
just needs to
imagine with
be
the
a
argument.
once per turn they can do a lot of hits, not a
Oh yeah.
once per turn they can spend their entire focus points to.
Or it becomes you sort of give up being able to do so because it's so extreme. Like, you give up the next turn of flurry of blows. So you get 2 in one hit, but you cannot do it afterwards. You effectively take away the bonus action of your next turn.
That's got potential.
Because once again, it's that whole level it out side of things where, yeah, you might be able to go in and ram really go hell on his chin and also play Popeye the Sailor Man and go as much as you like. but there might be
You
very
balance
much.
it out by next turn. You've got to catch your
You've
breath.
nerfed yourself effectively for at least the turn to get yourself back into it again.
Is that
Well-
like the haste effect? Then when haste wears off, you can't do anything. You're stunned for a turn.
Yeah, kind of. You effectively got haste up on yourself, but you gained the benefit in one turn, and then debilitated yourself for the next. Something for us to think about.
I
We'll
think
have come
there's-
with ideas. There's a lot of potential here. The
There's
real question is
ideas
how we
there
tap
for
it.
it. The biggest problem that I had with this one, when I sat down and first was looking at this with Rogue, was looking at it and going, how do I make this not just a nerfed version of the Warrior of Elements?
Yeah.
Because looking at it to start with, it was like, it's just the same as the Warrior of Elements from the 2024 rules, but with only 3 elements. But I think we've got an idea there that's very much not just that same thing as their one. The other subclass that I've briefly thought of in the fact that we were doing it tonight, and I don't think this is a subclass that they've already done in the 2024 things or any of the 5th edition rules. I may be wrong because I don't play bards. College of Verbal, or like College of History Bard.
Isn't that law?
I mean, there is the law bard, but legitimately just like the bard that tells the oral histories. I don't have anything.
Oh, I see. I see what you mean.
I literally don't
Oh,
have
actually, that
anything
kind of
else
goes back
written
to
out.
what was in the chat, isn't it?
That's basically where I got the idea from, and I wrote it down then.
Mm.
That's why I literally don't have anything else, is because it came up tonight as we were doing the stream, and I just like, I'm going to add this to my notes.
Mm-hmm.
I said it in that voice as well in my head. It was weird.
In which case, yes, effectively they are the storytellers rather than they are the ones who regale with the tales of the past.
They
To inspire the
regale with the
future.
tales.
Recale with tales of bales of whales and rails.
You
Yep,
had a
they
good
tell the
try
train
at it, buddy.
times.
You had a good try at it, buddy, but you're obviously not
there we
made
go.
up for the bar.
There we go. The college of intricate details of railway timetables. They'll just like recite the whole thing at you and just like do not stop.
We've got about 20 seconds before the next ad break starts, so we're going to say,
Is that good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Dallas time, I'll be doing this.
Yeah.
I didn't have something to throw over. We go for sports with Dallas.
It's traffic.
Oh,
traffic report.
sorry,
now,
over
is
to
it?
Dallas in the Tamrinor helicopter. How's the traffic?
It's someone's dropped a load of horses from a plane onto the freeway. It's utter pandemonium. There's horse bits everywhere. It's awful. Avoid the freeway.
You're telling me else, but it's not stable.
You heard it from Dallas. Situation is awful.
Oh,
That's
that
quite
a
a
good place
tale
to-
they'll be telling.
is that a good place to come to a stop for tonight?
And now to Geoff for the main event.
It's all over the place. It's everywhere. Ah.
Thank you, Geoff.
Person.
No, we've got a minute and a half now to this ad break ends, so we're just going to have to stretch for time.
I must say there's been another subclass which I've been thinking about, which was the Tinkerer,
Okay.
which is effectively going with the law which we have with our goblins. Goblin trained improv creator on the field. Their whole thing is to literally find scrap and turn it into something to fight with.
So some sort of improvisational artificer.
Exactly. No, I wasn't sure about whether
Interesting.
placing it because I don't know if do we actually have artificers yet, or whether we have something along the lines of it being more like trickster rogue. But you literally place down that you are an improviser. You grab items and create things to do, boom, or
Well,
whatever.
Artificer is coming to us soon with Eberron Forge of the Artificers.
It is.
I mean, it better bloody be. It's in the title of the book. They have also said that they are in there and that there are 4 subclasses in the book.
Yeah.
In that there are the 3 subclasses
Oh.
we already have had, and the cartographer.
Uh-huh.
So the magic map maker.
Interesting.
Yeah. They make it sound very interesting, the fact that you can seemingly shape reality with your maps.
The Unearthed Arcana version of it was very interesting. You got a lot of powerful teleportation effects, and like you were able to be like, and you can take a map, and you can take a map, and as long as all of my maps still exist, I can never die.
Yes, that's how immortality works.
Well, basically, I think it was like at a certain level, if you got to 0 hit points, you could instead destroy one of your maps and reappear there. I think it was something like that. But at the moment, I don't know if Artificer is going to come to the SRD. In which case, if it comes to the SRD, we can make subclasses for it. I think that's how that works.
We'll go with that logic until we're proven wrong.
I'll double check that, because it might not be. We'll work it out.
Because I must say, it was just literally one of those things of thinking, having that as a subclass and effectively throwing in that little chaotic goblin flair, which we've already thrown in, that what you created might not necessarily be what you've made. What you aim for is not necessarily what you were actually aiming for.
What you were hoping to do may not be what you get to at the end, but boy, it's going to do something. Probably explode in some way.
Also, just the idea of, as people are running in with swords, you've got a person literally grabbing stones, sticks, and a lot of duct tape, and just coming out with something to fling at them.
I know we already called it the improvisational artificer, but it's the MacGyver.
I know, it is. Effectively, that is exactly what it is. And I would love to come up with a different version of it, a goblinized version of the MacGyver.
Anyway, now that we've got through that ad break, it is time for us to say goodbye. Thank you for tuning in for this. I hope this has gone well, and I hope that the AI has kept up with transcribing these notes.
We will find out soon.
We will find out very soon, because we're going to press the stop button soon, and hopefully they'll be there.
I'm just going to say a random noise to see if it will try and transcribe it. Flanurgle.
Technically, we were doing that beforehand as well.
Yeah. We've said a lot of random noises tonight to see if it will transcribe them.
Scruvumple.
I want to see what it does when the name change is coming.
I mean, we've already seen that it says that this has been a collaborative brainstorming between John, Geoff, Ben, and a 4th person whose name changes frequently. In the catch me up with what's been happening in this meeting. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, please do hit that follow button. It's a great way for you guys to know when we go live, a completely free way that you can support us on the channel. It really does mean a lot to us. Brains and words and things I say now.
Yes.
We have a Discord you can join to chat with us about the games that we're playing and things that we're doing. We have a YouTube channel that you can go to catch up on all the previous things, what we have done. And we have a website, finalbossfight.co.uk, that you can go to get all the stuff we do, written content, audio, video, photos. You can buy this through there. Not this one. But you can buy the PDF at the moment.
That actual one. That's exactly.
Somebody will be able to buy that one soon. Because I am gonna. I need to get an ISBN number before I can start selling the books, which I will be doing very shortly. But for anybody curious, and I know that you guys have all been involved in this book has been submitted now to the British Library.
Ooh.
This book is
There's
now...
our exciting bits.
This book has now been sent to the Legal Deposit Office of the British Library, which is a thing that all books that are published in the UK need to have done. And we've done that now. I need to get an ISBN number for the book, or ISBN, because the N is number. But then for people in the UK, I'm going to sell the books through the Discord, through the Facebook, through the people that I know sort of networks.
We're planning on getting a free-wheeled van to drive around, and we're just going to park up randomly.
Under the proviso that it will be sent soon. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it through a web store where you're expecting it to go out next day delivery. It's going to be when I can get them to the post office, you'll get a copy of the book eventually. So if that sounds good to you, stay tuned to some of those places, and be living in the UK, or know someone who is, who will ship it to you onwards. Let's have a look at the streams that are coming up, because that's a thing we do now. Where's the button for that? It's around here somewhere. Tomorrow night, it's the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, maybe. Some of the players are away, but
Dungeon of the Mad Mage, maybe. Your god is the bagel.
And I currently look like I'm cosplaying to get in there.
We are going to be continuing, or they are going to be continuing through Muriel's Gauntlet. Tune in to see how that goes. It'll only be well, I'm sure. On Monday night, it is Wild Sea. Sean,
Woo!
Tell us about that.
It's Wild Sea.
Thank you,
last
Sean.
The last time our group was part of a festival to celebrate the spring coming to the Wild Sea,
And nothing bad happened.
And it ended with some company coming towards the settlement they're in.
Oh yeah,
but nothing bad will happen. Something bad happened.
On Tuesday
We'll see how they deal with that.
On Tuesday night, I'll be continuing Dragon Age. I'm nearing the end of Inquisition.
Nobody expects that Inquisition.
On Wednesday, hopefully we'll be doing some more midweek Minecraft, where we might make the nuclear reactor even bigger.
Even more nuclear-y.
There's a fair potential.
Or actually finish off getting the resources to make fuel constantly, which might mean laser mining.
Ooh.
And then next Saturday is supposedly the FBF quiz night. I still need to check with Jen what round she would like to have, because she was supposed to tell me about a month and a half ago. She
might want to chase that up.
So if she doesn't tell me soon, I'm gonna pick.
But
I already have a missing words round, and there'll probably be a film round.
Fair enough.
And two others that I'll work them out soon.
I can give you a really random one. It's one which I came across recently, which I thought was hilariously put together. Medical name of pill or elf name from media.
Yes.
Because a lot of medical names apparently sound like they're meant to be elven names instead.
Oh, I think I've already done the drug or IKEA round, so
Oh, well, there we go. It's the fantasy version.
we can do that then again. Now, however, it is time for us to raid.
Uh-huh.
Who are we raiding tonight, I hear you say?
Who are we raiding to? Oh, damn it. Too late. Sorry.
Tonight, we are gonna raid...
I have 7 dogs.
Oh, good for you. Let's raid them. We're going to go and raid I Have 7 Dogs, who currently has 1 dog on the stream.
Yay!
So 6 others, we don't know where they are right now, but one of them...
It could be anywhere.
One of them is... Oh, there's another picture of a dog. There are dogs. We're going to go raid. See you guys again real soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So long. Bye, guys.
Good night.